All right, as usual, we're going to tackle this in a couple of different parts. The way that we're going to do this, there are two primary ideas happening in this sequence, and so we're going to start with the first one, and that would be the spin up to right shoulder. Now, when we are working through this, like we normally do, we're going to do just a read down of the words first, and then from there we'll get into breaking down the sequence. We'll do a read down of the words, and then we'll do it with the words and the rifle. So this is just the spin up to right shoulder. And we're going to use the words that are up here, right here. So let's go ahead. I'll give you a 1, 2, ready, go. Let's read them down together. 1, 2, ready, go. Tap, grab, spin, grab, drive, cut. Pretty straightforward, right? So let's hop into this because we need a lot of definition to make this one clean, and we need to make sure that we're very evenly spacing out all of our counts. So tap refers to a couple of things. The rifle is the easy part. We're going to push the rifle forward, and when we do this, I want us to think about a 45-degree angle with the arm, and then creating a perpendicular line with the rifle so that it makes a T shape. We don't want the rifle down here. We don't want the rifle pushed back. We don't want the arm up here. Probably about a 45-degree angle. And then also making sure that we have that good squeeze, especially in the back of the hand, that will clean that up, make it look really nice. At the same time, the tap refers to the tap of the foot, and we have a couple of different things happening here. My suggestion is that we make sure that our upper body does not transfer the weight forward with that foot. Instead, that we reach out, pointing through, really flexing through the bottom of our leg, and point and tap that toe to the deck so that we have a straight line here and we come out to that tap position, tap. This is going to give us the cleanest look. In a gym, you're still going to get the audio, although in a moment we'll discuss why you don't need the audio, and that's going to give us the cleanest lines possible. From here, as we bring the feet back together to the position of attention, we're going to grab underneath the small of the stock. When we do this, we want to be hyper aware of the angle of the rifle. The rifle is a curved implement, meaning if my hands are even, the rifle looks like it's off axis from where we want it to be. We really want to make sure that when we grab, we're focusing on getting the barrel of the rifle parallel to the ground. From here, basic left-handed spin, but we're in reverse. We're moving to the exact center balance point number 1. And if you're unfamiliar with that left-handed spin concept, make sure you check out the Armed Exhibition Masterclass, that definitive guide to Armed Exhibition drill. So we have tap, and then we have grab. From that grab, we're getting to that one left-handed spin. I want us to focus on keeping this arm as soon as it lets go, making that nice straight line from shoulder through thumb so that we have a nice clean pin on the side of our body. We hit the spin. We're going to get up under that rifle, getting into our grip, and we're going to make sure that our hand flips into fingers and thumb extended and joined, elbows held down without strain, pressing just below the receiver of the rifle. Now the key thing here is we want all these counts to be exactly the same cadence. We don't want to go and rush and then drag the time backwards. We want those to all be nice and even. So whatever time we establish, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then obviously the cut on 6, we want those to run right together. When we're at right shoulder, here's what I want us to be thinking about. Elbow, under shoulder, front to rear. Elbow, under shoulder, side to side. Wrist in line with elbow, up and down. That's going to give us the same, or very close to the same, uniform approach, making sure that the rifle is splitting between the index finger and the middle finger, and then defining whether you want a space or no space there, making sure that we stand here in this great technique. Obviously, when we cut, hand comes down, position of attention, leading from the thumb, pulling straight down. So let's do a read down of the words, and then we'll do it words and drill. So here we go, one more time with just the words. 1, 2, read it out. Tap, grab, spin, grab, drive, cut. And here we go, let's do it with the rifle. 1, 2, ready, go. Tap, grab, spin, grab, drive, cut. Very nice. In a moment, we're going to hop into the second piece of the sequence, which is our right shoulder toss guy. We'll talk about that in a moment. Now, in order to talk about this second piece of the puzzle, we need to know 2 different moves. Again, these are both found in the Armed Exhibition Masterclass, that definitive guide to Armed Exhibition. One of them is a 1.5 little right shoulder toss. We got to make sure that we know the vocabulary move. It's this little piece right here, ending with our tuck underneath the arm. And we also need to know a single left-handed spin, very similar to the one that we already covered here. So if you have not yet learned those 2 pieces, pause the video, head over to the Armed Exhibition course, go through and look at both of those, and then come back and revisit. But if you're ready, we're gonna read it down. The words are going to be on a 1, 2, ready, go. Let's read them together. 1, 2, ready, go. Down, out, grab, catch, push, stop, present. Pretty easy, right? Here we go, let's break it down. Down, out, catch refers to our right shoulder toss. Here are the things that I'm thinking about. Uniform hand position. I like the hand just below the band, right? So don't ride it up on top of that metal band, just below, nice and relaxed right here. I don't want my arm hyperextended, because if I hyperextend, I'm gonna need to break that elbow backwards, and that's gonna reduce the fluidity of my toss. I want to go to a position where the arm is almost straight, but with a slight natural bend. I wanna make sure that the barrel of the rifle is not canted forward nor backwards, straight up and down. And as I lead into the out, which is the actual toss, I want to think about the rifle traveling perfectly in that vertical line. We don't want to think about tossing it forward, tossing it back, lifting up, pulling back at the ear, and we want to aim for a catch at the center balance point that is directly above the shoulder at approximately a 45-degree angle. I would clean down, out, grab consistently until we're feeling really good about that. 1, 2, ready, go. Down, out, grab. We want to make sure that we meet the rifle on that grab consistently. From here, we're going to tuck the rifle under the arm. My recommendation for this one is that we get the hand on the sling because we're about to spin. If we grab the barrel, which is kind of normally where down, out, grab, catch, normally we kind of end barrel or upper handguard. I think sling here because we want to make sure that we can fire off into the spin. Now, in watching your video, you have a choice to make, and I don't hate either of these choices, right? They could be either or as long as you are consistent between drillers. 1, we can aim for a flat catch. The pros of this are it's very nice and easy to clean. A flat line is a flat line. We could also aim for a 45-degree tuck. The pro of this is that you have a little bit more momentum to work into your next single spin, but define that and make sure that everyone's approaching it the same way. At the same time as we have the catch, whether it's going to be flat or whether it's going to be 45. At the same time, if you are in the first squad, we're going to be, or the first element as it were, we are going to be kneeling down. We want that to occur after the grab as we come down to the catch. And what we really want to be thinking and be mindful of is a 90-degree angle with the front foot, 90-degree angle with the back foot, making sure that my toe is still in contact with the ground so that we can easily push back up when we're complete. We want to time that down, out, grab, catch, so that we meet the ground at the exact same time that our hand meets the sling, showing coordination between those two efforts. So whichever one you are, if you happen to be in that first squad, good to go. We're gonna kneel down. For the second and third squad, second and third element, we are going to step out. The same principle is true. We want to delay that foot and meet that foot tap. I would recommend keeping your weight on the rear foot, keeping that weight back, right? Whether you go here, whether you go here, as long as it's consistent. But we want that big, tall, nice posture happening. We don't want to distort from the shoulders. We don't want to think about hunching down or carrying the rifle down. We want to think about being tall and strong no matter where we wind up going. Then, single spin. We really want to be careful about making this 3, I guess technically 2 total counts, and not thinking about the spin just being, okay, I spun the rifle. The spin actually occurs in 2 halves. There's the push, which is to push the rifle into motion, and the stop, push, stop. And just like when we did tap, grab, spin, grab, drive, how we want to keep those nice and even, right? Kind of working maybe against what the momentum of the rifle wants to do. We want to also make sure that when we have push, catch, that we keep that push and the catch very, very even. As we do the push catch, we want to be mindful of where our left forearm is because we want the rifle to stay low. There's 2 ways, 3 ways we could do this. We could fire it off kind of normal, kind of up here. We could keep it right in the middle, right, nice and comfortable, or we could go and keep the center low. We want to do that because obviously from here, we're moving into that present position. Number 1 priority being is my wrist in front of my elbow, lined up, not too low, not too high. Is it directly in line, centered on the body, bringing that hand down to finish the move. we want to transfer the plane of the rifle on the arm going down. So we're out here, we're pulling back, and we're sliding the hand to where it needs to be at the small of the stock. So keeping that rifle center of gravity low is going to facilitate making sure that we're not dropping into it, having to have a great level change between the stop and the catch. So just kind of things to look for or to be aware of. Let's read it down, and then let's do it with the words. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, go. Down, out, grab, catch, push, stop, present. All right, let's do it. Starting from that right shoulder position, here we go. And I'll demonstrate as if I am one of the second or third elements. I'll just put the foot forward on the catch. 1, 2, ready, go. Down, out, grab, catch, push, spin, present. There we go for part 2. Now we're going to talk about putting it all together. Now the tricky thing about ripples, especially element by element, squad by squad ripples, is that they are deceptive. We think that we're actually rippling a movement from front to rear, from rear to front, whatever it might be, and we're using our ears and maybe our eyes to cue into the drillers around us to know when to go. Ultimately, if you're doing that, if you're waiting for what you hear or waiting for what you see, we would call that reactive drill. And what unfortunately can happen in a reactive situation is one of a couple of things. One, if something goes wrong, and let's say the person that you're relying on, they have a speck of dirt in their eye or some dust and they have to blink and it throws them off time. Now you don't have a cue point to know, and what was one error can cascade into a multitude of errors. The other thing that can happen, right, is if we're listening or we're looking for something and there's an environmental demand, maybe we're listening and it's a really loud area that we're performing in and we don't hear that cue. Well, again, you can see the problem. Instead, we want everyone to count the entire sequence from start to finish. So you'll notice over here on our words, we have words like wait, two, tap, grab, spin, grab, drive, cut. Wait, 2, 3, 4. As we're working this sequence, I don't want us to think about our part just being tap, grab, spin, grab, drive, cut. I want us to think that our part, let's say we're in the middle of this formation, I want us to think of our part being wait, 2, tap, grab, spin, grab, drive, cut. Wait, wait. Kind of see how that works, right? So as we're working on this sequence, wherever you're assigned or whatever spot you are working on, your sequence still starts on count 1. It just may include some waiting before, some waiting after. So when you see the cascading kind of words that we have right here, I want us to think it's not just about the movement, it's about the whole sequence. The sequence begins when the first group starts to drill. Everyone else isn't standing and waiting and reacting. They are counting, maybe out loud at practice and obviously in their heads when they're performing. And that's how we're going to get this ripple not only clean and in time and lined up, what we would call vertically aligned, being in time from group to group to group, but we're also going to make sure that if there's a hiccup or there's an error, we're able to recover that. So as we're practicing on a 1, 2, ready, go, wait, 2, 3, 4, tap, grab. Include those pause counts as verbalizations so that you understand as a driller, I'm in this formation. And the outcome is a ripple from rear first, then from front to rear. But in reality, we're all doing a 22 count sequence, just some counts we don't move on. So now we're gonna, again, one more time, see the whole thing demonstrated.